Hi
Hi,
Marco, how are you?
good thanking you.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just wanted to ask initially about team news. Are there any unexpected players that I'm going to be missing?
Not different news from the last week. As you know, we had some players on the bench last game because they were not fully fit for the 90 minutes, of course. But good to see some of them coming back and training with the team. We have a slightly doubt on William. João did all the week with his teammates as well. Not big difference from last week.
Lovely, thank you. I also wanted to ask, we've got obviously 1 week left of the transfer market. How important is it for Fulham to do some business and bring in some players?
I think everyone understands that should have been our priority last month, a month and a half ago. Imagine now. Of course, we 7 players left our football club in the end of the season. We sold another player that was Mitrovic as well. Of course, when you left 7 players, another one that we sold, and we just signed 3 players, I think it's clear for everyone how many players we need, and that we are really late in this aspect, definitely.
A top striker must be on the agenda. I don't expect you to give us any names, but what type of striker do you think would be best fitted to replace someone like Mitrovic, who had such an emphasis?
When you are in the
season?
market, and not just about the striker, I understand, of course, when you look for our squad last season and for the 11 that play more time, of course, we lost one player until now. Of course, that is Mitrovic. All the other players, they were not always starting level players. Manor had an impact, of course, and other players, they help really for our great season. But looking for the players that play more in starting 11, of course, we lost the striker. But we have much more positions to cover, and I don't want just to put the fate and all the focus in a striker position, even if it was a player that we sold, when you need so many things to do in the market for the last 7-8 days. It's not a normal situation. Yes, it's not. If I would like to be completely different, yes, like all the managers in the world, I believe. About the striker, if you are going to sign any striker, it has to be the right one. It has to be someone to come to have an impact in our squad, with conditions to help us really. And this is the main thing for me. I don't want to sign players just to sign, to be honest. Even if you need numbers, you need clear numbers. In terms of squad, our squad last season was short. This season is even more. And of course, we need to sign players, but we have to sign the right ones. Players just to be numbers, we don't want. We want players to come to help really the players that we have already.
You mentioned obviously your team was short last season for various reasons, including like injury and Mitrovic serving his ban, but you still managed to get through the season, landing yourself a great position in the table. Similar to this season, you mentioned that fact that you're quite short with players. What is it about the mentality that the players have as a collective to still, I guess, keep it going and keep that energy going within the squad?
No, we have a great group of players that they are giving always their maximum for the shirt, and they are being top professionals. Of course, in some aspects, some things this past season is being different than the last one, but it's normally something for me to sort out and to put in the right track. But as a players, as a dressing room, their commitment, their attitude, and the team spirit and the quality to fight for the shirt is being there always since I joined the football club. Last season was impressive. All the credits to them as well. Of course, as all the teams, we want always to improve. All the squads we want to improve, and they need players to help them to be stronger.
And just lastly for me, poor result against Brentford and coming up against an Arsenal team that seem to have found their form with a number of additions, including Declan Rice. How do you think the team is going to respond to a game like this?
2 different games. Going back to the Brentford game, I have spoken enough, but I can mention again. Of course, it was not a good performance for ourselves. Of course, balanced game first half. We gave 1 goal away. We gave clear the goal for Brentford to score the 1-0, and of course, leading the score at half time gave them the confidence. Second half for me, the wrong decision from the referee, completely wrong decision from the referee when they gave them the penalty and the red card for us. And of course, in that moment, most closed the game. And first half was clear that we were not at our level. Game balance really, the detail made a difference in that goal. Second half, good reaction from ourselves, and a clear and obvious mistake from the referee gave the chance for Brentford to score. and put us playing with 10 men. It's important to be clear with the situation. Of course, I knew after the match when I saw the images. During the week, we got the feedback from the people that is in charge that is not a penalty at all. We didn't need really, because I can see with my eyes it's clear. Just the ref is so completely different than VAR. Did the same or didn't take the decision from the referee that was a error. But okay, can happen. I can make mistakes as well. The referee did the same. About Arsenal will be a different game. Not at Cottage, will be away against a top side, as you said. A side that they have been from a great season. Of course, they weren't the champion, but the way they fought to be champion last season, the way they played, everything what they did last season was impressive, was really good. Credits for them. And they were able to improve the squad with very good signings, and more than that, in the right timing. You can see that they have a plan, and they execute the plan clear, because when they signed, not just because they signed Declan, they signed Arras as well, they signed Timber, they signed good number of players, and they signed them in a timing that give a chance to them to plan the season and to prepare the season and to be in the pre-season with his teammates. For me, it's clear, is a plan there, and more than the plan, because the plan can be there, but they execute well the plan. Of course, I believe that will be even a stronger Arsenal this season.
Lovely, thank you. Best of luck.
I'll just take the Thank you. Cheers. Hi, Marco.
Hi.
Hi. You talked before about replacing Mitrovic, but not just about going out and buying a player, but buying the right type of striker and so on. Would someone like Moise Kean or Timothy Castagne be the right type of striker?
No, Moise Kean is not a solution for us, but as I have been told you, I don't like to speak about players that they are not our players. Moise Kean is a player from Juventus. I just want to clarify this situation. But no, I will not talk about players that they are not our players, but I can confirm to you that is not the player that you are looking for.
And Timothy Castagne then?
Okay, you can mention now 10 players. I will not mention. I just something that I want to tell you about this player, about players that they are, Moise Kean, Castagne and other players. I will not mention the players from the other clubs.
You talked before about Arsenal, obviously your next opponents, about it's quite clear they have a plan, they executed the plan. Is it easier for a club like Arsenal to have a definite plan and be able to execute it, whereas Fulham perhaps it's more difficult to bring the players in that you necessarily want, as you've seen, you're short of the players that you want at the moment. Is it a harder job for you?
I don't want to compare, because even it's not enough. You know, we are talking about two different clubs and all that stuff. I just mentioned because I think it's clear for me that the plan was there and they executed really well and on the right timing to prepare the season, to start the season strong again, because as I know, they know as well how it's important to start Premier League strong. As I know and they know as well, it's really important to prepare the pre-season with the right timing for the players to have time to gel, all that stuff. And okay, cannot compare one thing with the other, because all of us, we know that there are different things, the power and all that stuff to go in the market.
You said on the back of everything Arsenal did last season, you think they could be stronger this time round. Their first couple of matches, they obviously won, but I think in both matches that they were run pretty close as well. Do you think it's perhaps a good time to be meeting them right now while they perhaps haven't fully hit their stride yet?
They are different games. Of course, the first game they started really well. They started leading the score. Of course, they managed the game. Second game was different. They were able, even with 10 man, to keep the clean sheet. As Mikel said, is a good way to win a football match as well. They showed the resilience, the organization to keep the clean sheet and to be able to win the game from the penalty shot. But they won the game. This is the main thing. And each game is has his own story, and of course they want to win again for sure. We want to have a reaction from the last game.
And you've spoken today about the red card the other day, and you spoke after the match, and you said it'd take a while perhaps to get used to the way some of the rules are being implemented this season by the Premier League. Is that something you can work on the training pitch? How do you go about adapting to the way rules are being enacted so far this season? It
will be difficult, even if you want to adapt and to prepare the players in the training ground. It will be difficult because you have to see some consistent in some things. The penalty against us is a good example. Where is the consistent there? Because most of the times 95% of the times is never a penalty that moment, and it's difficult to understand after where comes the consistent in this type of situations. But of course we have to adapt. It's something that we knew. We had some meetings during the pre-season with the people that is in charge of this, of the rules or the changes as well, and I expected, and I mentioned as well, probably is a new way to run the matches. Probably the change is too big, in my opinion, for everyone to be adapted, players and the referees as well. And you are seeing already, I think seven red cards in 2 weeks. As an average, you can see how big is the number, and let's see how it goes in the next few weeks. But it will be not easy for us to simulate the reality on the training ground every single day, even if it's our job to try to do it.
And obviously the red card had a big influence on the way the match went the other night, but you've had 2 matches so far. What have you seen from your team so far that has pleased you, and also do you think areas that definitely need addressing?
You still have many things to address, definitely. It's not an excuse, because I don't like to find excuses. I'm here to find a solution, not excuses. Our pre-season was not I would like to have a pre-season to prepare a team to this competition. Wasn't, for many reasons. One of the reasons why the big number of injuries that we had, were not able to prepare our backline the way I would like. We did most of the games with a young lad, 17 years old, at our backline, and all that stuff is not. It was not a normal pre-season. Things that we should clear to, and you have to improve, is about our consistent, our focus to don't be slow in some moments of the game, like we showed the last 2. Good things that we have to keep showing. Of course, we did show first game some quality in our attack line that we have. Of course, we want to create more chances, more shots on the target as well. Is the 2 things clear that we have to improve.
And you did bring in a few new players, as you mentioned. People like Calvin Bassey came off the bench the other day. Are they ready to start matches now, particularly with Tim Reid being out?
No, he's ready to start. Of course, I would like to give more time for him to adapt for our reality again. He didn't do the pre-season, just last week of pre-season, the game against Offenheim, but of course he's ready to play and he's going to start.
Thank you.
Hi Marco.
Hi.
Arsenal have been so impressive over the last 18 months, but why is that? What is it, what they do on the pitch, what impresses you the most?
Oh, clear answer. First, of course, Mikel is doing a very good job at this moment to adjust things. I think one season and a half to adjust things, to start to understand what he wanted to do with the team. He did some adjustments in the squad. Last season was at very, very good level, not just the results, but the way they did it as well, the way they played. This season they were able again to adjust and to improve their squad that was at very good level already. And okay, is one of the best teams in the competition. Definitely, they showed that last season, and I believe, like I said before, that they are going to show again this season. And it's a tough team, even at home, even more, because you know what is going to happen. All that support. It will be a good challenge for us. It will be a good challenge. We want to show a reaction as well from the last game, and playing against Arsenal away from home is always a very good challenge.
And because of that, how important is it for you to keep a clean sheet if you want to get anything from the game?
It is important, but we know as well that normal Arsenal, I don't know how many games they didn't score last season, for example. That means if you are always thinking to keep a clean sheet and you are not able to create some chances, will be difficult for you to get a good result. Because normal, I would love to don't consider. That means that we are going to be really strong. We are going to show the compactness that last game in some moments you didn't. But of course, at the same time, when you have the ball, you have to look for their goal. We have to try to create chances, because it will be really important for us to score.
Is that their best area, the front three, the attacking sort of forward line? Is that what impresses you the most about them?
No, it's difficult for the front line to be able to score and create chances. Everything is coming from the back for the players. When they sign 2 players that they went direct for their 11, where I'm talking about Declan Rice and Havertz, means that they reinforce really well the midfielder line, because it's clear, of course, they lost Xhaka, but 2 players that they signed, they come direct for the 11, the first games of the season. That shows the impact that 2 players they have in their squad so far, and this is really important. It's difficult to say that it's just front line. I understand the 2 wingers they have they have the skills, they have the quality. 1v1, they are impressive. Both, of course, even in the absence of Jesus, Nketiah is doing really well as well. He's always being a very good solution for them. But of course, with the triple players in the middle, even the way they build, let's see if they come or not with Shevchenko for this game that can give something and more quality even in their build-up. And we have to be ready for everything.
And you are without your captain, but how much of an absence will that be?
It was a really important play for us last 2 seasons, of course, and he started the season not in his best shape because, as you know, he broke his arm and he just had 8 minutes in the pre-season friendly. Of course, was not at the best, but he's coming for his best. Unfortunately, got that red card, unfair and wrong decision. I have to repeat again. Okay, he's not going to play. Will be the chance for Calvin to come in.
Okay, Marco, and then I'll come to you.
Hi, Marco. How much are you going to miss Alexander Mitrovic?
You asked me last week about Mitrovic, the enough after the match, and I said after the match that from that moment is going to be finished. I will not answer nothing more about Mitrovic because it will be a lack of respect with the players that I have in our squad right now. I mentioned how he was important for me. The relationship that we have will be forever, will not be just because I was in Fulham. How we were important for him since I arrived in this football club. The way we helped him to go for the level, the way he understood my idea, and after he executed that, but now is a finish for Mitro at Fulham. We have to look for the players that we have, to improve them, and to give all the confidence for them. From last week, after the match, when it was official, I will not answer any questions more about Mitrovic.
Where are the goals going to come from in his absence?
About Mitrovic, I will not answer.
But who's going to score your goals?
You know our strikers, or who they are. Okay. If you want to talk about strikers, we have 3 strikers. It's to come from them. If you want to talk about our forward players, it has to come from them too.
You described the kind of player you want to bring to Fulham,
Yes.
and I would imagine that every other club will want to buy that player. I'm just wondering how big your job is as the manager here to persuade the player to choose Fulham over any other club.
With more time, it will be less difficult. Right now, at this moment of the market, I have to tell you that it's really, really difficult. It's really difficult, and this is the problem when we let the things for the last week of the market. It's always a problem when we left the things to go for the last 7 days of the market, and after you are not in the best position. I'm 100% sure, even if we lost an important player for us, with the time, because the plan was there and it was clear, with the time we are able to sign a player that can help us. Right now, we are doing the maximum, we are doing a big effort to do it. Let's see if it's going to be possible.
Do you get the impression then that the club hadn't started looking for Mitrovic's replacement until it was confirmed that he was leaving?
Please, don't keep talking about Mitrovic. I think is the enough about Mitrovic right now.
Okay, sorry, can you just clarify? You said that since the Brentford game, you've actually had it confirmed that it shouldn't have been a penalty.
Yes.
So they said to you that shouldn't have been a penalty.
Yes.
So I mean, what can you do about that?
We cannot do nothing. We cannot do nothing. But they just confirmed to me what I saw, and probably 80% of people saw in that match at Cottage last Saturday. It was just a confirmation because, of course, during the match it's difficult for me. When I was in the bench, of course, I have to be honest with you, it's impossible for me to see it. Of course, we have to believe in the decision. Of course, all our players that they were around, and even Tim Rin that was involved, he was really surprised with the decision. They were really surprised, all the players around. The decision came. Really difficult to understand, even if they are going to say, okay, it was not obvious for the VAR to take the decision. For me, it was clear and obvious, and we got in confirmation that wasn't a penalty clear. Yeah.
Finally, for me, just on the subject of Arsenal, never a great time to play them away from home, but at the moment you must be thinking the challenge is even tougher than ever.
It's a tough challenge always. I remember last season when we went to play against them. Wasn't in the 3rd game of the season, was in the 4th game of the season. We went to play against them. Probably in the slide, okay, we went with 5 points. Now we have 3 points in the 4th game of the season. Okay, this type of things can happen. Of course, we come from a bad result. I would love to have the squad complete, to have everything, to have the players to work with. It's not possible, wasn't possible until now. I have to focus on the players we have, the solutions we have to go, and these are players that they can make an impact in the game, they can make the difference for us. Again, they are going to fight for the shirt as well, and this is my focus on it.
Finally, last ball.
Sorry.
Ian.
Hey,
Okay, good.
I won't mention Mitrovic.
But you can mention, I will not answer to you, no problem.
Does the sale of your number 9 show that maybe...
It's a different way to go in Mitrovic, yeah?
Is the sale of your number 9 show the difficulties that transfer window has when it's still going and the season started?
We had this conversation, I think, 4 years ago when, for the first time, Premier League decided to finish the market before the first game of the season. And of course, all of us that we analyzed, we had the impression, and we, of course, we made some conclusions about that wasn't fair for us. If I'm not talking about the world, but in the rest of the Europe, the market will still open until the end of August, and we are in risk because we close our squads, but the other clubs, they can come to buy. Was a decision again to keep until the end of August, and I have to tell you that it's to be in this way, I believe, even if I agree and I understand your question. But of course, if the other markets they don't close before, why we are going to close? Because always is a big risk. Imagine that we, for some reason, and it will be a big surprise, but for some reason, before our Everton match, we close our squad. We have our squad complete, and in Europe, the market is going to be open until the end of August. Any club can come here to buy a player from ourselves, or possible to try to buy a player from ourselves, and we are going to be in a difficult decision. It's not an easy decision, and I think Premier League decided well in that situation.
But it leaves you 8 days to replace somebody who is almost irreplaceable.
But this is okay. This is another situation. This is another situation. Of course, we had some targets for that position clear, and of course, 10 days ago, 15 days ago, they were there for us to try to get. Still there, 2-3 solutions that we are trying. Of course, as I told you, my full focus right now is in Raul, Rodrigo, and Vinicius, to work with them to get the best from them. Of course, when we sell a player, and the player that we sold, try to go in a direction to replace him, and we are trying to do that. I know what I want for the team. Let's see if it's going to be possible.
Talking of Raul Jimenez, he's not been the same player since that injury at Arsenal.
Yeah.
He goes back to Arsenal this weekend. Is he okay with that? I mean, I know he's played at the Emirates since the incident,
he already played.
but it's still something which must be going through his mind.
I haven't spoken with him about it. I think he just reminded me that was in that game. But from the injury and everything what's happened with him, Raul is 100% fit. It's not even to think. You can see the way he fights, the way he had the ball, the way he goes there in all the moments, the way he fights, and the way he's going to keep fighting for us is not an issue for him. Of course, he, like all the strikers, in his goals, he needs to score goals, he needs to feel important, he needs to feel the love around him to go, because not just him, all the strikers, and we had a good example last 2 seasons here, because he felt the love, he felt everything around him. You made him important, and now we have to make the others important as well, to give the confidence for them to score goals, because at the end they need. Even if a striker role in our idea is much more than score goals, I know for them it's really important to score, to boost their confidence.
2 more, very quickly. You're not worried about this season? I mean, a lot of Fulham fans in the last week will have become a little bit worried about the season. Just clarifying, you're not worried? You're okay with...
I understand your question. Of course, the fans they look for everything, and they analyze. They like, first of all, they like his team to win football matches. Of course, we won against Everton, and I was the first one saying to you that wasn't everything perfect. Far from that. Far from that. And after that, we lost the last game. I'm not in panic too. I know what we need, and the club knows what I want for the squad since last May. We are trying to do, because Premier League is really tough, and I said last season, in the end of the season, that we cannot stand still, because if you think that is enough, will be the first step for you to do mistakes and to be in trouble. I don't want to be. I want to do the best for this football club, for the fans, for our players as well. I'm here to demand from everybody to support in this situation. Of course, you can see that the squad is far to be complete. It's far to be complete. We are doing something really important during a competition, is not during a pre-season. Like, looks, you are in a pre-season, but you aren't. The Premier League already started. But worry probably is too strong. I'm confident. I'm confident that we have to get, and I have to get the support to get the players that we need inside. We have a group of players really humble, ambition. They proved last season their quality. Just we need the right people inside to help them to do a very good season again.
Finally, I know you don't like talking about the former number 9 or other people's players. So could a replacement, it's just come into my head, could a replacement for your centre forward who's left be Romelu Lukaku at Chelsea?
He's a Chelsea player. I have to repeat it.
Anymore.
Okay, but he's a Chelsea player, and you have to ask for Chelsea this situation. Okay, I don't know even if he's in the market or not. He's a Chelsea player. Of course, I know that he's not involved in the squad, all that stuff. But I'm not talking about players from the other teams.